Alright guys, welcome back to Exotics Anonymous. Welcome to my very own 2013 Audi S6. Now I've been sitting in my car in some of the videos I've been making, and it's probably been in the background of some of the car shows I went to, but this is the first video I've done really just directly talking about the car. So I've now owned it for over 6 years, and I'm going to tell you, all about my ownership experience, what it's been like, what it's like to drive, obviously, both on long road trips and, back roads, stuff like that. And then also, what the ownership experience has been like in terms of maintaining it, gas mileage, that type of stuff, and also just everyday usability. I will go over the interior heavily too as well, and talk about driving and tell you everything you really need to know about a 2013 Audi S6. Obviously, they made this version of the car from 13 to 15, then they did a light facelift in 16, and they made that through 2018. And yeah, I'll tell you some of the differences between the models as well. On the outside, you can get a black optics pack on the front, and the mirrors and the chrome and everything is gone, so it's all black, which does look nice too. Some people prefer the chrome this had, some people prefer the black optics pack. And another thing was the headlights. They did a big headlight upgrade on the 16s, but a lot of people actually preferred how these look because you can kind of see here in the light, all of these light up when the high beams are on at night. And it's like almost like a crystal look, whereas the newer ones are just a thin LED beam. So it's kind of to each their own what they prefer. I like both, to be honest with you. They're both great looking cars. Sports exhaust was available on the 16s and up. These you had to put an exhaust on if you wanted to make them loud. So things like that were maybe a little better on the 16, but this is the iconic Audi look, so you can't go wrong with this either. And now, as you can see, it's very cold where I am today, so we're going to keep the outdoor portion of this short for now, and then, get in the car and go over the interior and then driving review, of course. Now, I've actually owned this car down in Florida almost the whole time I've had it, and I recently moved somewhere cold, so this is not the typical driving situation for me in this car. It hasn't actually seen snow at all. I just drove it out here for this review because I'm trying to keep it off the roads when they're all crappy like this. We'll do it for the video today and get some good content out there for you guys. I hope you like my license plate. I just got my new license plate, and I had to put it on with a binder clip and a rubber band because the state I'm in now requires a front plate, so we got to do what we got to do for the channel. But let's go jump inside the car now. I've already got it running because it's just so cold out here. It's like 24 degrees or something like that. So we'll jump in. I apologize for the beeping. I've already got the car running because it's so cold. So I didn't want to have it be, not warming up while I was doing the outdoor portion of the video. But this is the initial view when you step into my 2013 Audi S6. Got this wonderful heated steering wheel, which I needed today when I turned the car on. Some of my favorite things right off the bat about this car, all the carbon fiber. I mean, they did not skimp on the carbon fiber in here. It's absolutely everywhere. It's all over the center console. It's even on the top of this once you shut it. I mean, that's just all carbon. So beautiful. It's on here as well, and onto the door on that side too. A lot of manufacturers now, like, you cannot get carbon fiber even when you pay for it. Like, they give you a little strip of it somewhere, like on the dash or next to the gear selector or something. Even Audi doesn't do it like they used to. This really felt like the era where they put the most effort into the cars and really cared about the product they were putting out. Now, on the 16s and up, you could get a flat bottom steering wheel that wasn't heated. Flat bottom wheels do look really nice, but I would like to have it heated when I'm living somewhere cold like this. So no complaints there either. Another nice thing about the steering wheel, you do have a volume control right on the wheel, which is kind of hard to come by nowadays. Just in general, not too many controls overall. I mean, you got very simple stuff here. You can figure out what everything is just from looking at it, and it's a real button that you can still press, You don't have to go for some haptic thing while you're driving, like on the newer Mercedes or Ferraris. Even Audi recently announced they're replacing any haptic buttons they have added to their steering wheel back to actual buttons, because buttons are just better when you're driving. You don't have to take your eyes off the road. Speaking of taking your eyes off the road, this car does have a heads-up display, which was on the Prestige models, and I love it. I mean, I don't know if I could ever go back to dailying a car that doesn't have it, because it's just so much better. You don't have to take your eyes off the road at all. Why would you want to when you have a, very fast sports car, sports sedan, whatever type of car you have your heads-up display in, even the big SUVs that have them now that are fast? It's just so much safer to not have to look off the road. And the newer heads-up displays, you can even get like your RPMs up there. This one usually is just the speed, and if you have any of the self-driving features turned on, you'll see it up there as well. So there's no like RPMs on this car, but they did add that on like the newer RS6 and RS7 models. Over here next to the steering wheel, you've got all your light controls, and your the night vision camera is on this car. Here's your regular cruise control, kind of in a normal cruise control stock location. Blinkers are right there. And that's how you turn on the lane keep assist, this button right here, where it'll keep you between the lanes on its own, so you don't have to worry about that. It's good if you're maybe stuck in traffic and you want to turn that on in combination with the active cruise control. That way it kind of steers you and it goes for you. I don't use it too much just because I'm not a big fan, but I will say it's a lot better on like the newer Audi models that have it. It was pretty good on this, but it was 2013. This was kind of just when this technology was starting to come out. I had like a brand new Q5 as a loaner for a while, and that car had their newer software version of this, and it was pretty good. We'll just take a quick look at all the buttons here before we get into the driving portion of the review. But you got your engine start stop button right there, which actually it isn't a You would think it's kind of weird being far away from the steering wheel. You have to reach over there, but you get used to it and you don't even have to look after a couple times, and it actually feels pretty cool. Like, it's kind of in the middle, almost like in a fighter jet when you turn it on, which is nice when you're getting into your, daily driver sedan. Here's the electric park brake, radio controls if you ever need them. The only thing that annoys me with the music in this car is that the only way to skip songs right here. There's no like button on the steering wheel to do it. It's actually just over here. You have to hit this one to go forward and this one to go back. This is volume as well, but I always use the one on the steering wheel pretty much. Here's all your HVAC controls, you know, defroster, everything like that. Heated seats right there, and the passenger seat right there. On the 16 and up, they added auto start stop on this button, I believe. I don't think there's anything where you could fill all these. I think maybe you can get a rear sunshade on this one as well. For 2013, this has everything it could have had. So as far as I know, the only option this car did not have from the factory is the 20-inch wheels, which I actually don't think look as good as the 19-inch ones. So I didn't really care about that, to be honest with you. And if you really wanted the set of wheels, you can get them after you get the car too. It's not that big of a deal. Or get an aftermarket set that probably look better anyway. Now, I apologize for the mess, but I've got like all my filming stuff in here because I'm doing a few videos today. But by far the best thing about this car are the seats. They look incredible. They're heated like I showed before. But I mean, they look like this, but they're more comfortable than basically every other seat I've sat in. And I've sat in Bentleys and Rolls Royces. These seats just, the way they hug you, and then the amount of padding they had back then, and the quality of the leather, it was still like nice and thick, and thick in like a durable way, but also like a plush soft way. These were just peak seats. Now they have made like a very similar looking seat obviously in a lot of their cars for a while, but in the S6 and 7 they were more padded than like in an S4, and there is a difference. Like if you get out of one and get into the other, you can feel it. And I will say, like, even in the newer cars, they make seats that look like this still, but they added cooled and massaging to it as well, not just heated. I would love those seats, although I've sat in them, and I do think these still have more padding. The newer ones just have more features, which is nice, but I love these seats. If I could take these seats with me into, like, whatever car I decide to go with next or something like that, I would, if I could. I would just want to add the cooling and the massage ideally, too, because who doesn't want that? And my other favorite thing about this car is a sunroof that opens, which is becoming harder and harder to find nowadays in cars, and this is something that I think is taken for granted. I love having a sunroof. I don't understand why these manufacturers are, you know, making big cars with sunroofs that either can't open or just not at all. Like, I don't really need a carbon roof in my, you know, full-size four-door sedan. So, and I didn't show too much of the infotainment yet. Basically, though, it's nice. You've got two real, you know, tachometers, dials up ahead of you still, so you can see the speed on there and you can see the RPMs and everything. You got your coolant gauge on the left. You got your gas on the right. And then the middle screen, you can change a few things. Like there's a menu of stuff you can go through. If you don't want to look at the assist, you can look at like something that tells you how efficient the car has been, what's been taking most of your energy. You've got the onboard computer for like your gas mileage and everything. The car's just been idling for like 20 minutes now, so the gas mileage is very low at the moment, but it's usually not that bad. I usually, in the city, I get closer to like 13 miles per gallon. Not great, but not terrible. And then on the highway, it actually does do pretty well. Like if you're just, you know, cruising on the highway, you can get into like the mid 20s. Because it has cylinder deactivation where it shuts off half the cylinder, so you're basically doing 4-cylinder mode until you step on it, and it kicks right back in instantly. I've never had any problems with that or delays. I don't know how I forgot to mention this. One of my other favorite things about the car is the 360 camera system. Right now I've got it looking out the front, so like if I was pulling into a spot, it would be very, you know, it's useful if you're looking for a curb, but I always back in. Who pulls in anyways? Back up, you know, back view now, and then you can also do like the back corners if you're trying to back out of a spot in a parking lot and you don't know who's coming, but more usefully for me, the front one, where you can see who's coming, you know, in that regard as well. And then if you want to go to the whole 360 view, you can, and just look at the car like this. But if you noticed, it also shows you it like when you're on the front of the back camera, you've got it right here. So the camera system is great in this car, especially for 2013. A lot of people don't even, like, they're shocked to see this car has something like this from when it came out. And just in general, like, another nice thing about this car, you can still, you know, touch your own air vents if you need to. There's no screen you have to go into to change the direction of the air. There's no screen here to turn on and off the, you know, heated seats or whatever, like the newer Audis. So I think this car was just peak interior design for them. I would have loved the flat bottom steering wheel if it could have been heated. It wasn't even an option on the 13 anyway. I think that's enough talking about the interior, though. Why don't we get this car on the road and we'll talk about how it drives and what I like to do with it and what I think it's been good at and what maybe, you know, something else might be better at, etc., etc. The only way I can think to describe this car in one, like, simple phrase: effortlessly fast. You can be going very quick in this car and it's not that dramatic to do it. If you're looking for more dramatic fast, this probably isn't it, which is something I didn't really know until I test drove one for the first time, but I knew before I bought it, obviously. I mean, it sounds really good when you're on it. I think sound is maybe the first thing we'll talk about, because that's one of the few negatives I think with this car. It's not really that loud in stock form. On the 16 facelift, they did add a sports exhaust, which made it a little louder, but everybody that I've met that had one with that exhaust still said they wanted to replace it. I didn't want to touch mine in this car because I didn't really feel like dealing with modding it. I had a warranty that I wanted to keep, you know, completely above board, and so I never changed the exhaust. It didn't bother me that much. I don't need to be, you know, making a ton of noise going around, but it would be nice to have a little more sound, especially on like a downshift. You don't really get that many burbles or crackles or anything like that until the car is really warm. And you have to have it in sport mode and pretty much be ripping manual downshifts, or, you know, just like getting on the gas for a second in sport auto and then letting off, and it's kind of, you know, annoying to do that. Whereas, you know, something like a E63 or even like a newer RS7 will do that all the time for you pretty much. So I think sound is probably the big negative to this car. The only other negative with this car, which applies to pretty much every German car, especially the bigger, you know, nicer sedans like the S6s, the S7s, the E63s, the M5s, stuff like that, is the maintenance. Because, you know, German cars are expensive to maintain. These are some of the more expensive German cars, especially these big sedans, and so the maintenance is not cheap on these cars. But dang, can they move. Now, all the maintenance I've done on this car is literally, I mean, it's like 70 lines on a spreadsheet or something like that. So I'm going to put it in a whole separate video because I don't want to skip anything, and I want to make sure we have time to really talk about, you know, the nuances of what came along with it. If you're serious about buying a German car like this, you want to know what you're getting into ahead of time. So I'm going to make like a dedicated video that you can really, you know, take into consideration before deciding if you want to buy one of these cars. Because the number is astronomical that I spent on maintenance. I couldn't believe it myself when I totaled everything up. So, like I said, though, I did have a warranty that covered a lot of it, which made the car a lot more realistic to own. So check out that video for you. I'll probably drop it the next video after this one. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already, so you can see that video when it comes out. You're not going to want to miss it. It'll be informative, and it's also just kind of crazy too. It's a fun story. This car is just so easy to drive. I mean, you got to pay attention to holes and things like that, obviously, because you don't want to damage, you know, these wheels, these tires, the suspension, any of that stuff. But in general, unless you're going places with really bad roads, you're fine. Just don't hit anything. It's so easy to drive around. And if you're, you know, if you're into the car community at all, you'll know that a lot of the Volkswagen Audi group parts are shared between things like this and, say, a Porsche Panamera and even a Bentley Flying Spur. And so, you know, when I got this car 6 years ago, it was about 30 grand at the time. And if you wanted to buy a Flying Spur at that same time from Bentley, it was like 300 grand. So for 10% of the price, you're getting like 85% of the experience. You're not getting the Bentley badge, obviously, but in terms of the ride quality and the performance and everything, obviously the Bentley's a little quieter, a little more sound insulated, but for a tenth of the price, you're getting such an amazing product that, you know, if money means nothing to you and you want the Bentley, go ahead and get it. I'm not saying not to. And, you know, when they're depreciated, they make a lot more sense. But you're getting so much value with a car like this. Obviously, that comes with the maintenance factor, which we'll touch on. But now, for all intents and purposes, I love this car. I mean, I've had it for 6 years now, and I don't really want to get rid of it or anything. I mean, it's just, it does everything so well, and in real-world scenarios, it's like quicker than almost anything you run into on the roads, because it's got that all-wheel drive power that it puts down right away, where a lot of cars, like an M5, didn't even have that until 2018, 5 years after this came out. So if you lined up against like a, you know, 2015 M5 at a red light, you were beating it up until like 60, because the all-wheel drive just powers down instantly, the M5 spinning its tires. And that could be said for a lot of rear-wheel drive cars the last, you know, 10 years or so. So actually being out and around in the world driving, this car beats a lot of stuff. It's fast enough, you know, like it's not 600 horsepower or anything like that, like an E63 or an M5 is, which is, you know, the only really step to go from here. And man, it's just so confidence inspiring in the handling. I mean, you don't worry about it at all. Now on back roads like I'm on now, up north, it's great. It does its job, but it definitely feels kind of not pointless, but like I can't really get the full throttle on any of these back roads. This car was so much more at home down in Florida, where the roads are just straight and long and you can, you know, comfortably cruise for long distances. I mean, I did some long drives across the state and stuff like that, and I felt refreshed when I got to the other side. I wasn't tired at all, where, you know, if you do a long drive and say maybe like a pickup truck or something like that, not like a nice one like a, you know, or not like a F-150 Platinum or anything like that, but something without a lot of sound insulation that's kind of heavy to drive, you're kind of tired by the time you do a 4 or 5 hour drive. And this, I mean, I've done 8 hours before and felt good to go another 8, you know. So this car is so easy to park. That 360 camera system I was showing you earlier really can help you in any scenario if you need it. But once you learn the dimensions of this car, I don't really find myself looking at it that often, to be honest with you. I mean, there's just not enough good things I can say about this car. It's never left me stranded anywhere. The only time it ever did was a battery died, which could happen to any car. Like I said, all the maintenance stuff I'll put into a separate video. It's just been fantastic in many ways. In any scenario I've put it into, it's always handled it. These seats, like I said before, are just so comfortable. I could drive these literally all day, any day. And they look cool at the same time. Like it's a win-win. So I really do love these seats. They make a lot of the car experience for me. There was a comfort seat available, which some people preferred, but I don't understand why, because It was literally the seat out of an A6 or an A7. The reason people like them is they're cooled and massaging, not just heated like these, but they just changed the whole vibe of the interior. I think it literally ruins the car. So for me, I would have never bought an S6 or 7 with those seats. And honestly, I sat in them because I was looking at A6s at the same time I was looking at these, and they're not that comfortable. Like, they dig into your left side in a way where these just don't. These are more comfortable than those seats, and they look way better. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm a snob for options in a car. Like, if this didn't have the sunroof or, you know, the heads-up display, I wouldn't have bought it. But when the seats look like this versus looking like the other ones, you can't get the other seats. You just can't, even if they have the cooled and massaging feature. Yeah, this car has never seen snow in my ownership, so I'm trying to avoid like all these bad spots on the road, like I said. But it's stressing me out right now because I'd never, at least while I've had this car, and I knew where the last owner was too. He wasn't really in somewhere super snowy, so this car has been pampered, really. It's in great condition. And the heads-up display in this car is just right, just the right size. You can move it a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Like, it was earlier in heads-up display technology, but I'm telling you, this one is still clearer than any brand new BMW you get into. I don't know what they do over there that makes it look so blurry, but this still looks better. The newer Audi RS ones are even better because they have the RPM counters and they still look nice and clear like this, and you get kind of whatever information you're looking for. So I can't say enough good things about the features and the technology in this car, especially considering it was a 2013. The stuff it has amazes me, especially the self-driving. Like, I can't believe it had that back then. I had no idea. When I bought the car, I actually did not know it had the self-driving stuff. It got here and I was like, is that what this is? And it was. So I was just more concerned about like the heads-up display, having the right seats, being in good shape. The sunroof, I love having a sunroof, if you couldn't tell from earlier in the video. I don't understand why you would want like a big daily car like this where you can't let some light in the roof and open it up too. I don't understand. Like, there's a, you know, brand new Aston Martin DBX SUV, nice big glass roof, can't even open it. But that just blows my mind. For that much money, you can't open your sunroof. BMW with the M8, same thing, carbon fiber roof only, no sunroof option, just blows my mind as well. I can't believe that either at that price point. It's just there's a black newer A6 behind me right now. That's a fantastic car too. I've driven that. It's not as fast as this, obviously, but you can kind of see where like the evolution of the technology is going and everything. It's just a shame on the S6 generation after this that it's the V6 with a mild hybrid instead of being the V8 that's in like an SQ8. In my personal opinion, the SQ8 is the spiritual successor to this car because it's got this engine, but it sounds better. It makes a little more power. It's got these seats with the heated cool massage feature. Whereas the S6 after this was basically, it's the engine from the RS5, which is a good engine, don't get me wrong. It's that twin turbo V6, and then with like the mild hybrid system. But they had so many problems when they came out that it just turned me off of the car. And also, it's the seats that are in, you know, this, but in an SQ8 now, but they're only heated in the S6 still. Why did they do that? It's the same seat. They just didn't put the cooling or the massaging in, whereas like an SQ8's got the heated cool massage version. So as much as I prefer sedans, I think if I was going to get either the new S6 or an SQ8, I would go for the SQ8 because it's got the V8, 500 horsepower, sounds really good. I've driven them a few times actually, and I like them a lot. Whereas the newer S6 is like, you almost feel like you're just not taking a step back, but definitely not taking a step forward, you know? I like how it looks and everything, and I like that you can get a flat bottom wheel and all that stuff, but it just doesn't make sense to upgrade into one of those from here for me. I think I would literally rather get the A6 and just save the 15 grand difference that they roughly are now, because that car is pretty great too. I've driven that. You don't have to deal with the hybrid system in that, and you can get a really good looking one if you get one with, like, you know, the sport packages, black optic package, everything. It looks just like an S6. So Audi really lost this generation S6 for me. My dream daily car, which they haven't really made in like 20 years, is an RS6 Sedan. And the rumor is that's coming on this next generation of RS6 and 7 that's going to come out. But I'm just skeptical of what they're going to do with this interior now, because they kind of just ruined their interiors. So if they finally make an RS6 Sedan and I don't like the interior, I'm going to be pretty bummed. But I have high hopes. Hopefully it comes out okay. But I mean, to me, from here, the only place to really go without leaving the, you know, fast sedan segment is an E63 or a BMW M5 or a Porsche Panamera as well. But that's very similar to this car. Like, it's literally, it shares 90% of the parts. And the Panamera actually, in a way, is the closest thing to this because it's got the Porsche PDK transmission, whereas this is also a dual clutch transmission. I'm sure they probably shared some parts between these two back at the time. But then, you know, the suspension's all the same. So a Panamera is not cheap to own either. Like, I'd want a warranty on that, just like I had on this. But it's basically this with an extra 130 horsepower. So what's not to like about that? So a Panamera would probably be the easiest transition, but it's also the most similar. I've driven all four of these. You know, obviously an Audi RS7 too would be a natural step up. The RS6, if you like wagons, I guess I'm not a wagon person. I don't really like how the RS7 looks either, the sloped back. Although I will say the most recent generation looks a lot better, and I really like the RS7 performance. So I could see myself getting one of those a few years down the line, but I think I'll go to something else before then, most likely. Mainly because they're still like 140 grand, and I think they probably should be about 60 grand less than that. So we'll let those depreciate before we even consider doing that. But I don't want to talk too much about other cars like that, like the Mercedes, the BMW. This video is about the S6 and what I've liked about it and what I haven't liked. And I mean, I would say if you're in like a state with long, wide open roads, this is a fantastic car. I mean, for the money they go for now, if you can get one, maybe like get like a probably get a facelift one at this point, get like a 16 and up and get a warranty on it, because I don't know if you'll be able to find a warranty on like a 13, 14 anymore. They're kind of getting to that age where the companies might stop wanting to sell you one on it. The cars are great. If you're up somewhere like I am now, more recently, where it's like back roads and not a lot of big highways and things like that, it's probably too much, to be honest with you. You can't really use the full power, and I kind of feel bad like beating it up on some of these roads. Like some of these holes and stuff, the car's on air suspension, and you know, the air suspension is very sensitive in general. I've had it fail on me twice in Florida where the roads are perfect. So I do worry like long term what driving it up here would be like. I think if you live up here somewhere like this, an S4 probably makes more sense, or like an M3, something like that, where the car's a little smaller, a little more made for windy back roads. It's not as fast where like it's hard to ring it out. Like this is hard for me to get to red line anywhere. So like even that bump, like that just annoyed me because it was bigger than I would have liked to have hit. And they're all over the place on these roads, and you couldn't do much to avoid it because there's a lady running over there, and just, you know, stuff like that is frustrating for sure. So I would say consider your environment when buying a car like this. But if you want an S6 already or something similar to this, maybe an RS7 or an S7, maintenance will be basically the same on those as well. Don't let me scare you off. I love this car. I've loved having it the whole time I've had it. I don't want to get rid of it. I might not get rid of it. So don't let me scare you out of it by any means. If you want one, get one. They're amazing. Just be prepared to deal with the maintenance, look into a warranty, and you know, make sure you have somewhere that you'll be able to fully appreciate and enjoy the car, because it does give a great ride, but all the headaches you get maybe with like, you know, the dual clutch and the air suspension and stuff like that, you might be better off going with like an A6 or something if you don't want to stomach the price. If you're in an area where the car is going to get beat on and you're not going to get to enjoy the full power a lot. Like basically what I'm saying is, if you don't need the S6 power and you can't really use it where you are, I would say maybe stick with an A6 or something equivalent, because you are paying a premium to have an S6, both in terms of the price with the maintenance and everything as well. And if you're not going to be able to enjoy it, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Hey, maybe that's just an excuse to, you know, maybe drive a more reasonable daily and then save for a really cool second car if that's what you're looking for. So, but I've loved my Audi S6. You know, 10 out of 10 for me. I don't think they're nearly as unreliable as people say, at least not in my experience. And I think that if this is the kind of car you like this is what I'm into. I'm into big sedans, you know. I'm into big, fast sedans. That's what I like. And if this is the kind of car you like, you'll love an S6. A lot of people don't even know what these are. Like I've had people ask me like, S6, like is that like an S4? I'm like, well, not really, because it's, you know, it's bigger, it's more luxury focused, it's not as good on a back road, but it's way better on a highway, you know, that type of thing. So it's what you're into, and if you like these kind of cars, this is a great car. So Audi, great job. If you have any questions on what to do with the next RS6, S6, please get in touch with me. I'll give you any pointers you want. I've tested this thing probably more than most S6 owners do. I'll just leave it at that. So it really does sound good once you're on it. I just wish that maybe that sound was a little more prevalent, especially at lower speeds, because you have to go kind of fast to enjoy this car. So that's kind of where I was going before with, like, if you can't use the car, it might not be worth it for what you're gonna have to pay to maintain it and keep it running. But okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this Exotics Anonymous video. This is my own personal car, so any questions you have in the comments, please feel free to ask. I'll answer them as best as I can. And like I said, stay tuned for the maintenance video on this car, because I think that might shock you more than just, you know, how I have felt about owning this car. Just the numbers don't lie, obviously. So check that out. Check out the other content on my channel. We get a lot of good stuff coming up. And please like and subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you in the next video.